We've all felt it,
Yeah.
that deep ache somewhere inside,
Yeah.
maybe a knot in your stomach, or just this weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's emotional pain. And it comes from everywhere, doesn't it? Big stuff like loss or trauma.
Right, the seismic events.
Yeah, exactly. But also the small stuff, the everyday friction, stress, disappointment, feeling
Right,
rejected.
so it all adds up.
It really does. And these struggles, they're just part of being human, like inescapable.
Absolutely. It's a given.
But here's the thing, and this is what we really want to dig into today. Just because we feel this pain doesn't mean we're helpless. We also have this incredible ability to cope, to heal.
Yeah.
Actually, to get stronger because of it.
That's the crucial part. The capacity for resilience is built in too.
And there are real practical ways to do this. Strategies backed by research, ways to navigate that internal messiness, move through the hurt and come out the other side.
Yeah.
Well, not just okay, but maybe even better, thriving.
That's the goal. So today we're doing a deep dive. We've pulled together a whole stack of material, psychology, neuroscience, personal development stuff.
All focused on how you can heal from emotional pain and move forward healthily.
Yeah, that's our mission, because it's so easy to feel alone when you're struggling, right? Like it's some personal failing.
Totally. Or something you just have to grit your teeth and bear.
But understanding what this pain is, knowing everyone feels it, and then learning some actual strategies, that changes everything. It can totally shift your relationship with suffering and open up so much potential for growth.
Okay, so where do we start?
Well, first, let's really understand the impact this pain has. Then we'll look at some core ideas you need for healing. And finally, we'll get into the really practical stuff, the tools, the techniques you can actually use.
All right, let's unpack this. First up, just acknowledging loud and clear that emotional struggles are universal.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's part of the human operating system. Feeling sad, anxious, angry, ashamed doesn't mean you're broken.
Not at all. And trying to ignore it or push it down, that just doesn't work. Unresolved emotional pain. It sticks around. It doesn't just fade.
It lingers, you mean?
It really does. And it starts to, twist things. It affects how you see yourself, how you see other people, the world.
How so? Like, give me an example.
Okay, well, think about carrying old hurt from, say, past failures or rejections. If you haven't dealt with that, it can make you really hesitant to take risks now. Or maybe you keep repeating the same patterns in relationships because of old trust issues.
Ah, okay, so it clouds your judgment, basically.
Definitely. And it makes everything harder work, relationships, just navigating daily life.
Yeah.
It can manifest as this constant background hum of anxiety, or maybe you're just irritable all the time or feel like you're never quite good enough.
Right, and that unresolved stuff.
Yeah.
It often pushes us toward coping mechanisms that aren't actually helping, doesn't it?
Exactly. We reach for things that give temporary relief. Maybe drinking too much or shutting down and withdrawing or overeating, compulsive shopping, scrolling, whatever it is.
The quick fix.
Yeah, the quick fix that feels good for a minute, but in the long run, it actually makes things worse. It traps you in this cycle where the original pain never gets addressed, and now you've got new problems on top of it.
It's like putting a tiny bandage on a deep wound and expecting it to heal underneath.
Perfect analogy. It just festers.
And this pain, it feels so real because, well, scientifically it kind of is, right? You mentioned neuroscience.
Oh, absolutely. This is fascinating stuff. Emotional pain isn't just a metaphor. It has a physical reality in the brain. Research shows it activates the very same brain areas that process physical pain.
With the same areas.
Yeah.
As if I actually got hurt physically.
Pretty much, yeah. There's work by researchers like Dr. Naomi Eisenberger on what she calls social pain, the hurt from rejection, exclusion, loss.
Yeah.
Using brain scans, fMRI, she found that the parts of the brain that light up when you, say, stub your toe, specifically areas like the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the DACC, and the anterior insula.
Right.
Those same areas become active when you experience social rejection or emotional distress.
So when someone rejects you, it literally feels physically painful because your brain is processing it in a similar way.
Wow, it really is. And this explains so much about why it's so hard to think straight when you're really hurting emotionally.
How does that connection work?
Well, when those pain circuits are firing, it often means the amygdala, that's like your brain's smoke detector, the alarm center for threats and strong emotions, is going into overdrive.
Okay, the amygdala is freaking out.
Right. And when that primitive part of the brain is highly active, it tends to suppress activity in the prefrontal cortex. That's the more evolved part, responsible for rational thought, planning, problem solving, impulse control, all the executive functions.
So intense emotional pain literally makes it harder to think clearly and make good decisions. It's not just that I feel like I can't think. My brain's capacity is actually reduced.
That's exactly it. It's a biological reality. Understanding this is so validating, isn't it? It's not weakness. It's a measurable brain response. And it really highlights why we need effective strategies to manage this pain.
Okay, so the pain is real. It's universal. It messes with our thinking, and ignoring it makes it worse. Got it. But the good news, like we said, is we can navigate this. Let's talk about the foundations for healing. Coping mechanisms, that's the first piece.
Right. Think of coping mechanisms as your built-in toolkit for dealing with distress. The strategies your mind and body automatically use to manage, reduce, or just endure tough feelings.
We all have them.
We all do. But the crucial difference is between adaptive coping and maladaptive coping.
Adaptive sounds like the good kind, the one we want.
It is. Adaptive strategies are the helpful ones. They help you navigate tough times in ways that actually support your well-being in the long run. They help you solve problems, grow, process things.
Okay, and maladaptive.
Those are the ones that offer that temporary escape we talked about, numbing, avoiding, but they ultimately cause more harm. They keep you stuck. Think substance abuse, complete avoidance, lashing out, excessive blaming. They don't fix the root issue and often create new problems.
Got it. So adaptive is about dealing constructively. And there are different types of adaptive coping.
Yeah, mainly two types. Problem-focused and emotion-focused.
Okay, break those down. Problem-focused.
That's when you actively try to change the situation or address the source of the stress itself. So if you're stressed about an exam, problem-focused coping would be things like making a study schedule, getting tutoring, asking the teacher questions. You're tackling the problem head-on.
Taking action on the external thing causing the pain. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And emotion-focused.
That's about managing your internal response, especially when the stressor itself is something you can't change or control. Think about grieving a loss. You can't change the loss itself.
Right.
So emotion-focused coping would involve strategies like talking to a therapist or supportive friend, journaling about your feelings, practicing mindfulness to accept the sadness without being overwhelmed, maybe finding creative outlets for your grief. It's about regulating your emotional reaction.
So you manage the feelings when you can't manage the situation.
Exactly. And using these adaptive strategies, whether problem or emotion-focused, is really key for building resilience and, importantly, emotional intelligence. It helps you keep your balance.
Emotional intelligence. EQ. That's our next big concept, right? You said it's crucial for healing,
Yeah.
especially those deeper, hidden wounds.
Absolutely crucial. Let's define EQ through three core components that are really relevant here.
Okay, component one.
Comfort with the full range of emotions. This is huge. It's the basic acceptance. Whatever I feel is okay. Doesn't mean you like feeling sad or angry, but you stop judging yourself for it. You allow the feeling to be there without immediately trying to shut it down or criticizing yourself.
Just letting it be.
Yeah.
That sounds like it would take a lot of pressure off right away. We're so often taught to suppress the bad feelings.
We really are, and fighting your feelings is just exhausting. The second component is open-hearted awareness. Basically, you can't heal what you don't acknowledge.
You have to look at it.
You do. Trying to avoid painful memories or feelings, pushing them away, it takes enormous energy, and it doesn't work. The hurt stays under the surface, ready to get triggered. So bringing a kind, compassionate awareness to your inner world, even the really uncomfortable parts, is essential to start healing. It takes courage, for sure.
Look at the wound to clean it. Got it. And the third component of EQ.
Ways to soothe and settle unpleasant emotions. People with high EQ still feel difficult things, but they have a toolkit. They know how to manage the intensity, how to calm their nervous system, how to lift their mood or ride out a wave of anxiety without getting totally stuck or resorting to those maladaptive habits. They get down less often, maybe don't get quite as upset, and can soothe themselves without this huge internal battle.
Okay, so acceptance, awareness, and soothing skills.
Yeah.
And this links to healing hidden wounds from childhood. You mentioned ACEs.
Right, adverse childhood experiences, things like abuse, neglect, growing up with addiction or mental illness in the family. These experiences can literally shape your developing brain and nervous system.
Making you more reactive later on.
Exactly. More sensitive to stress, more likely to perceive threats. EQ gives you the ability to soothe that reactivity in the moment, and it provides the foundation you need to actually go back and address the root causes of those overreactions, those hidden wounds.
Which leads us nicely into our third foundational concept, resilience.
Resilience, yeah. It's often talked about as bouncing back.
But it's more than that, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's adapting well to really tough stuff. Adversity, trauma, loss, major stress. But crucially, it's also about learning from those experiences, finding growth, sometimes profound personal growth.
So not just getting back to where you were, but emerging stronger or wiser.
Precisely. And I love how resilience researcher Dr. Ann Meston calls it ordinary magic.
Ordinary magic. I like that.
Yeah, it emphasizes that resilience isn't some rare superpower only a few people have. It comes from tapping into everyday strengths in our minds, our bodies, our relationships, our communities, things most people have access to.
So it's not some unattainable trait. It's accessible.
Totally accessible. And critically, it's not fixed. Resilience is a skill, like building muscle. Anyone can develop it with time, effort, and practice.
How do you build that muscle? What does it involve?
It involves a few key things. First, acknowledging the pain, not pretending it doesn't hurt. Second, accepting that change and difficulty are just part of life. Third, taking intentional action, doing things to address the challenge and care for yourself. Fourth, seeking self-discovery, looking for lessons and insights in the struggle. And fifth, cultivating a positive view of yourself and your ability to cope, even when things are hard.
So it's this mix of acceptance and action, realism and proactive growth.
You got it. It's a dynamic process.
Okay, fantastic groundwork. We understand the pain. We had these core concepts, coping, EQ, resilience. Now, let's get practical. What are the actual steps and tools people can use? Where do we start with working with our emotions? Maybe like anger. That's a tough one for a lot of people.
Anger is a perfect example, and working with it, not against it, is a great starting point. One approach really challenges that common idea that anger is just bad and needs to be suppressed.
Right. We're often told don't be angry.
Exactly. But biologically, anger has a vital purpose: protection.
Protection, not just aggression.
Healthy anger isn't about aggression, it's adaptive. We need to distinguish between core anger and defensive anger.
Okay, tell me the difference. Core anger.
Core anger is that direct, often proportional response when your boundaries, values, or sense of self feel violated. Think injustice, disrespect, being treated unfairly. It's that surge of energy that helps you say no, stand up for yourself, protect what's important. It's the necessary energy for self-assertion.
Okay, so it's functional, protective. What's defensive anger then?
Defensive anger is more like a cover-up. It's anger we use, often unconsciously, to avoid feeling other, more vulnerable emotions like shame, fear, deep sadness, grief.
Why would we do that?
Because sometimes feeling angry feels safer or more powerful than feeling scared, ashamed, or heartbroken. So, someone might lash out in anger when what they're really feeling underneath is deep hurt or fear.
Ah, okay. So the anger isn't the real issue, it's hiding something else. How do you figure out which is which or what's underneath?
There is a really useful tool called the change triangle. It's basically a map to help you understand your emotional blocks and navigate from those defenses or inhibitory feelings down to the core emotions that need attention.
A map. Okay, walk me through the corners of this triangle.
At the top, you have defenses. These are all the things we do to avoid feeling painful emotions: acting out, yelling, substance use, overeating, undereating, zoning out, endless worrying or rumination, withdrawing. Even things like being overly critical or perfectionistic can be defenses.
I got it. All the ways we try not to feel.
Exactly. Then, at the bottom corners, you have what we're often defending against. On one side are the inhibitory emotions: anxiety, guilt, and shame. These often act like a lid sitting on top of and blocking our core feelings.
How does that work? Like, give an example.
Okay, say you feel intense anxiety before giving a presentation. Underneath that anxiety, the core feeling might actually be fear of judgment, or maybe even anger about being put in that position. Or you might feel guilty after setting a boundary with someone, but the guilt is covering up core anger about how they've treated you in the past.
So anxiety, guilt, shame can block the real feeling. And the other bottom corner.
That's the core emotions, the fundamental feelings: joy, sadness, anger, fear, disgust, excitement, even sexual excitement. The goal when using the change triangle is often to move past the defenses and inhibitory feelings to actually access, name, feel, and process these core emotions. You know you're there when you can name it. I feel angry. Feel it in your body, know what it's about, and recognize the impulse that comes with it.
Okay, so getting to the core emotion is key. How do we work with core anger specifically once we access it? You mentioned a 4-step process.
Yes, this is about processing the energy of core anger safely internally. Step 1, honor by naming. Just saying it, even silently to yourself. I'm angry. Naming it brings it into awareness, makes it feel less overwhelming, and starts to regulate your nervous system. It's validation.
Simple but powerful. Okay, step 2.
Sense physically. Where do you feel anger in your body? Is it tension in your shoulders, clenched jaw, heat in your face, knots in your stomach, a buzzing energy? Scan your body like a detective. Get curious and compassionate about the physical sensations. Breathe into them. Emotions live in the body, so connecting with the physical feeling is crucial for processing.
Tuning into the body's signals. Got it. Step 3.
Notice impulse. What does that physical sensation want to do? Clenched fists might want to hit. Tight jaw might want to yell. Restless legs might want to run. This impulse is biological. It's the protective energy. Recognizing is just gathering information. It's not a command to act it out in the world. It tells you about the underlying need, protection, assertion, boundary setting.
Okay, name it, feel it, notice the impulse. Step 4 is about release.
Exactly. Step 4, release with a rage portrayal. This is a science-backed imagination exercise, and it's vital, to be clear. This is not about planning real-world harm. It's an internal process to discharge the energy safely. Close your eyes, bring the situation or person to mind, feel the sensations, notice the impulse, and then let the fantasy play out in your mind. Imagine yelling, pushing, whatever the impulse was, until you feel the anger start to subside.
So you act it out entirely in your imagination.
Yes. It allows the biological energy to complete its cycle and release without causing external harm. It's best to start with moderate anger while you're learning. Doing this consistently actually reduces things like anxiety and depression, which often stem from blocked anger. And it frees up that protective energy so you can use it constructively, setting clear boundaries, asserting your needs calmly, addressing injustice effectively.
Wow, that transforms anger from something scary or destructive into a potential source of energy and information. That's really practical.
It really is.
Now, speaking of strong emotions, often our big reactions in the present have roots in the past, right?
Absolutely. Intense reactions today often get their fuel from unsettled memories from earlier in life. Like, an innocent comment from someone might trigger disproportionate rage or shame because it unconsciously hooks into an old childhood wound.
Our brains make those connections automatically.
They do. But the amazing thing is, our brains aren't fixed. There's a principle called reconsolidation. Neuroscience has found that when you bring a painful memory into conscious awareness while having a new, corrective emotional experience, the brain can actually modify the memory and change the emotion attached to it.
Wait, you can change the feeling of an old memory? For real?
It challenges the whole idea of memory being like a fixed recording, doesn't it? Reconsolidation suggests memories are more malleable when retrieved. Think about therapy. You tell your story of a shameful event, bringing the memory up, to a compassionate therapist who offers acceptance and understanding, the new corrective experience. That process can literally begin to replace the shame associated with the memory with feelings of safety and validation.
That explains so much about why talking helps. And there's a specific technique for this, the float-back strategy.
Yes, the float-back is a way to use this principle yourself. You start with a recent upsetting event, maybe one where your reaction felt too big for the situation.
Okay.
Then you mindfully observe everything about that recent event without judgment. What did you see, hear? What did your body feel like? Heart racing, throat tight? What emotions came up? Anger, fear, shame? What thoughts ran through your head? I'm stupid. They always do this.
A full inventory of the recent trigger.
Exactly. Be really compassionate towards yourself, especially the physical sensations. Then, as you stay with those feelings and sensations from the recent event, you let your mind gently float back in time to the earliest memory you can recall, where you felt a similar way.
The first time you felt that specific physical knot or that particular wave of shame or had that same negative thought.
Precisely. Follow the thread back. Then, you apply the same mindful, compassionate observation to that earlier memory. What was happening then? How did your body feel? What were the emotions, the thoughts? By bringing that kind of awareness to the original wound, you create the conditions for reconsolidation, hopefully reducing its power to trigger you now.
So healing the root helps the present reaction.
That's the idea. It can lessen the emotional charge of the old memory, leading to more regulated responses today. People often report feeling more whole, more connected, kinder to themselves after doing this kind of work. There's also a variation where you start with a recurring negative thought like, I'm not good enough, and float back to find its origin.
This sounds powerful, but maybe intense.
It can be. And it's crucial to remember the caution. If exploring these memories feels overwhelming or triggers extreme reactions, stop. Put the strategy aside. Severe trauma really needs the guidance of a skilled therapist. But the hope here is immense. Techniques like this exist, they are effective, and relief from past pain is possible.
Vital reminder. Okay, so working with current emotions, revisiting the past. What else? Shifting perspective seems like a big one.
Huge. This isn't about pretending bad things didn't happen. It's about changing the meaning you make of them, the story you tell yourself. A key shift is moving from asking, why did this happen to me? Which can keep you stuck.
Yeah, that feels very victim-y in a way.
It can. The shift is towards asking, what can I learn from this? What meaning can I create? It moves you from helplessness to seeking insight.
Reframing the experience.
Exactly. Like if you lost a job, instead of just dwelling on the failure, you ask, what did this teach me about my skills, about what I really want? How can I use this? You extract the wisdom. This leads to another powerful shift, moving from identifying as a victim to becoming a thriver.
Victim to thriver, that sounds like a major transformation.
It is, and it's tough because often things were done to you, others are responsible for pain. But thriving is about reclaiming your own agency. It's about finding growth and meaning within or because of the hard stuff, even when it was unfair. It's taking control of your story.
So not excusing others, but focusing on your internal narrative.
Yes, choosing an empowering narrative. Instead of I'm broken, choosing I'm stronger because I survived that. Dr. Edith Eger, the Holocaust survivor and psychologist, puts it so powerfully. The biggest prison is in your own mind. You already hold the key. The willingness to take absolute responsibility for your life.
Wow. Taking responsibility for your life even when you weren't responsible for the event. That's deep. What about faith? Does that play a role?
For many people, yes. Finding comfort in a higher purpose or spiritual belief can be incredibly grounding, especially when human systems fail you. It's not about praying the pain away instantly, but maybe finding solace in surrender, forgiveness, or a sense that there's a larger meaning, which helps with long-term healing.
Okay, so these internal shifts in perspective are key.
Yeah.
What about tools to help with that process? Journaling comes up a lot.
Journaling is huge. It's a concrete way to get thoughts and feelings out of your head and onto paper, which helps process them. Writing unsent letters is a classic technique, pouring out everything you feel towards someone without needing to actually confront them. It's a safe release valve.
What makes it more than just venting?
The real power comes when you don't just tell the story, but you feel the feelings in your body as you write. Tune into the tightness, the heat, the ache. Write from that place. That helps process the emotion somatically, letting it move through you instead of getting stuck.
Connecting mind, body, and expression. Are there specific prompts that help?
Definitely. Things like, I feel powerless when. What feelings am I trying to escape? If I could go back, I wish I'd said. What patterns from my childhood show up in my adult life? Or just listing secrets, writing about what you want to say yes or no to.
Those could really open things up. And you should end on a positive note.
It's often helpful, especially after digging into tough stuff. Maybe visualize your younger self and list ways you can show compassion to that part of you now. Or simply make a gratitude list, anything you appreciate, big or small. It helps ground you and shift the energy.
Visualization is another tool mentioned.
Yeah, you can use it to revisit painful situations mentally, but this time, approach them with compassion or forgiveness for yourself, maybe even for others if it feels right. It's not about excusing anything, but about loosening the emotional grip the memory has on you now. Reimagining it with calm or strength can reduce its power.
Rewriting the internal impact. And life scripts, what are those?
Life scripts are those deep, often unconscious beliefs we form early on about who we are, how the world works, what we deserve, like, I'm unlovable, I have to be perfect, people always leave. These scripts shape everything. Identifying your recurring negative scripts is the first step to rewriting them into healthier, more empowering ones. It reminds you that you get to write your own story moving forward.
It all comes back to taking charge of the narrative. Okay, so lots of internal work. But resilience also needs external supports and habits, right?
Absolutely critical. And number one is nurturing emotional connections. Social support is maybe the biggest buffer against stress and pain.
Connecting with people.
Yes. Trusted friends, family, support groups. When you're hurting, the instinct might be to isolate. Push back against that. Reaching out and accepting help is strength, not weakness. Sharing the load makes it lighter.
Makes sense. And practicing self-care.
Essential. Not fluffy stuff, but core stress management. Healthy habits, good food, enough sleep. Moving your body physically bolster your resilience. And crucially, self-care is also about not doing the harmful stuff, avoiding those maladaptive coping mechanisms like numbing with substances or food.
So it's adding the good and subtracting the harmful. What are some examples of good self-care?
Simple things. Cooking a nourishing meal, taking a nap, getting outside in nature, a warm shower, setting limits on screen time, being mindful about caffeine or alcohol. Just creating a personalized plan for how you'll take care of yourself is a resilience exercise in itself. It's active self-nurturing.
Okay, and that links to our internal state too, right? Healthy thoughts and self-compassion. This came up multiple times.
Yes, and it's often contrasted with chasing self-esteem. This is a really important distinction.
Why is chasing self-esteem potentially bad?
Because self-esteem is often based on comparison, feeling better than others, or on achievement, feeling worthy only when you succeed. This is unstable. It can lead to arrogance, putting others down, blaming others for failures, even narcissism. It's fragile because it depends on external validation or being above average.
Okay, so what's the alternative?
Self-compassion.
Exactly. Self-compassion has three parts. One, self-kindness. Treating yourself with the same warmth and understanding you'd offer a friend who's struggling instead of harsh criticism.
Being nice to yourself. Basically, yes. 2, common humanity. Recognizing that everyone suffers, everyone makes mistakes, everyone is imperfect. Your struggles don't isolate you. They connect you to the shared human experience.
So you're not alone in messing up or feeling pain.
Right. And 3, mindfulness. Observing your pain or difficulty without exaggerating it or getting lost in it. Seeing it clearly, but not letting it define your whole reality in that moment.
Kindness, connection, and balanced awareness. It feels much more stable than self-esteem.
It is. Research shows it leads to less anxiety and depression, more stable self-worth that isn't tied to success, and it's not linked to narcissism. It actually activates your body's soothing systems.
But is it self-indulgent, like letting yourself off the hook too easily?
That's a common myth. True self-compassion comes from genuinely wanting what's best for yourself long-term. Like a good parent, you might encourage yourself to do difficult things because you care about your growth and well-being. It motivates healthy action from a place of care, not criticism. And the best part, it can be learned. It's a skill you can cultivate.
That's really hopeful. Okay, another vital practical skill. Setting healthy emotional boundaries.
Oh, absolutely essential. Emotional boundaries protect your energy. They stop you from absorbing other people's feelings or feeling responsible for their moods. Without them, you get easily drained or overwhelmed by others' emotional states.
How do you know if you need better ones?
Signs include your mood depends heavily on others' moods. You neglect your own needs to please others. You feel like you soak up negativity like a sponge. You're hypersensitive to criticism. You feel responsible for fixing everyone's problems. You get easily caught up in drama.
Okay, yeah, I can see how those would be signals. How do you actually set them?
First, protect yourself in the moment. Notice tension in your body when someone's energy feels off. Breathe to center yourself. If you need to, step away physically for a minute. Use mental tools like visualizing a protective shield or bubble.
Creating space. Then what?
Communicate boundaries. This can be tough, but it's necessary. Use clear, simple phrases. I'm not comfortable with that. Please don't speak to me that way. I need some space right now. I can't take that on.
Direct and clear. Does it have to be verbal?
Not always. Nonverbal cues work too. Closing your office door, stepping back physically, using body language that shows you're not available for emotional dumping right now.
Okay. And the last step is patience.
Yes, be patient with yourself and others. If you're new to setting boundaries, you'll feel internal resistance, guilt, fear. Others might push back because they're used to you behaving differently.
Yeah.
It's a readjustment. Be kind to yourself. An affirmation that helps is, I respect and love myself enough to set clear boundaries to protect myself.
Love that. It ties boundaries directly to self-respect and self-compassion. Finally, finding meaning and purpose comes up again as part of healing.
Definitely. Going through hard times often clarifies what's truly important. It can lead to living more in line with your values. And a really powerful aspect is using your experience to help others going through something similar.
How does that help your own healing?
It gives your suffering purpose. Sharing your story, offering support based on what you learned. It empowers you. It transforms your wounds into wisdom you can offer. It creates this beautiful cycle where your healing contributes to others, and that reinforces your own sense of meaning.
Turning pain into purpose. Wow.
It brings a whole journey together.
Okay, we have covered so much ground. From understanding that emotional pain is real, physical even, and universal, to core ideas like adaptive coping, emotional intelligence, building resilience like a skill, then diving into really practical tools, working with anger, using the change triangle, healing past wounds with things like the float back strategy, changing our perspective through reframing and choosing our narrative,
Using journaling, visualization, understanding life scripts.
building those external habits to social connection. Real self-care, choosing self-compassion over shaky self-esteem, setting those crucial emotional boundaries.
And finally, finding meaning and purpose, potentially by helping others. It really is a whole toolkit.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the big takeaway seems to be that healing isn't a quick fix, it's a journey. It takes patience, practice, and a lot of kindness towards yourself.
Absolutely. Your pain is real, it happened, but it doesn't have to define your entire future. How you respond, the tools you use, the perspective you cultivate, that's what shapes who you become.
Resilience isn't just something you have or don't have, it's something you actively build. And all these steps offer a path to do that, to turn wounds into wisdom, challenges into genuine opportunities for growth.
So, as you reflect on all this, maybe ask yourself, considering the power you have to shift your perspective and own your story, what's one small, concrete step you can take this week? Just one thing. Maybe it's noticing a physical sensation tied to an emotion without judgment. Maybe it's writing one sentence in an unsent letter. Maybe it's gently questioning one limiting belief. What's one small step you can take to begin turning a past struggle into wisdom for your life right now?